So I'm Phariha Rahman, one of the Andrew Goodman ambassadors at the Center for Civic Engagement, and I'm talking today with Congressman Anthony Brindisi. Thank you for joining me, Congressman.
Thank you.
So my first question is, why are you running for New York 22, and what do you hope to accomplish in the district if you're elected?
Well, thanks for having me again. It's great to be with you. The reason I'm running for re-election here in the 22nd district is because we need folks in Washington right now who can show up, who will listen to their constituents, who can get things done and solve problems. And whether it's the 4 bills that I've had signed into law by President Trump, or the work that I'm doing for constituents like small businesses, individuals, students here back home during the coronavirus pandemic, it's just critical that we have people who can get things done. There's a lot of partisan politics in Washington, and not enough people who can actually sit down, listen to one another, work together, and achieve results. And I think over my last 2 years being in Congress, we've gotten some good things done in terms of legislation that I've had signed into law by the president, supporting our veterans, bringing jobs back, manufacturing jobs back from overseas, helping to lower health insurance costs for folks who get their insurance through their employer, or seniors on Medicare Advantage plans. But a lot more work is ahead. We have a number of issues facing our country, whether it's the climate crisis, whether it's gun violence, whether it's immigration, whether it's healthcare, infrastructure. And we need people who can get things done in Washington. I'm proud to have been able to do that over my last 2 years, and look forward to continuing to do that for this community for the next 2 years.
And my second question is, across the nation, communities are engaged in conversations and protests about racial injustice or racial justice, especially centered on policing. What actions would you take in Congress to address inequities in the criminal justice system?
Well, I think there's a number of things that we have to do. The House did pass, with my support, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which, while I don't agree with every aspect of the bill, I would say makes a number of advancements in helping to improve relationships between law enforcement and the communities that they are charged with protecting and serving. No one should be treated differently because of the color of their skin in the criminal justice system. And your economic status should not dictate how you're treated in terms of the education that you receive, the healthcare that you receive, or how you're treated in the criminal justice system. What we need are better standards, national standards across the country to improve policing. We need a database to make sure that officers who commit acts of police brutality and who are disciplined in one department cannot just go to another department to get a job. We need to ban chokeholds, and we need to make sure that the money that we're providing as Congress to local police departments are going for things like community engagement programs and body cameras, which have shown to hold bad actors accountable. We also have to recognize that law enforcement is a very dangerous job, and I would say that by and large, most police officers uphold their oath to protect and serve the communities that they're in. But we need to make sure that police departments, cities, and counties have tools available to them to make sure that officers who violate their oath, like we saw in the instance of George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, are held accountable.
Okay. Our communities continue to face unprecedented challenges due to COVID-19. What actions will you take to protect the health and safety of our community while addressing the economic harm caused by the pandemic?
Well, this pandemic has wreaked havoc on individuals and families and small businesses across this district. And I have had many conversations with people who are out of work, with businesses that are struggling to reopen, with students who are returning back to school and just unsure of what the future holds for them. So I'm very proud that Congress has passed 5 bipartisan coronavirus relief packages, but the work is not done. We very much need to pass another coronavirus relief package. The pandemic is continuing. It'll be some time before we see a vaccine into mass production to get out to the nation. The economy is still having a devastating impact, and for those communities that are already most vulnerable, this pandemic has hit them even harder. So we need to make sure we pass another coronavirus relief package. Within that, I would like to see more assistance for our state and local governments, as well as our schools. You know, they are struggling with a loss of revenue right now related to businesses being shut down. They've had to incur a number of expenses related to coronavirus, and they're going to be forced to make layoffs or cut back on programming if they don't get some help from the federal government. So that means, you know, our schools, both K through 12 and higher education, will have to cut back programming and perhaps staff. It means our local governments, like our cities and our counties, will cut back on public safety and infrastructure projects. And it means at the state level, the state will spend less on healthcare, which may mean less nurses and staff in our hospitals taking care of us. So we need another aid package. State and local assistance is a big piece of that. More support for small businesses, more support for people who are out of work still and struggling to put food on the table. And we need to make sure we have a national testing strategy so we can control this virus, get people diagnosed and quarantined and treated so further spread doesn't happen throughout the community.
Okay. With the cost of colleges continuing to rise, many college students take on significant student loan debt. How would you support students in pursuing higher education without facing the burden of debt?
Well, this is a huge crisis in our country. The student loan debt, I think now is the second largest consumer debt in our nation. On average, it's taking a student 21 years to be able to pay off their student loan debt, and it seriously hinders a student's ability to be able to obtain other loans, perhaps for a home or a car, or to start a small business. So we have to tackle this crisis, and we have to make college more affordable in general. A few ways we can do that are, one, by expanding access to Pell Grants, especially in areas where there's a need for more jobs, you know, in manufacturing and other careers. We should be lowering the interest rates and put them more in line with other interest rates like home loans and car loans and things like that. I think student debts should be able to be declared in bankruptcy as well. We should look at colleges that are making steps to make college more affordable and lower their tuition on their own, and then incentivize those kinds of programs. I think we also need to make investments in career and technical education, because a lot of the jobs right now that are out there, especially in our district, may not require a 4-year degree or a graduate degree. You know, many jobs in healthcare, in advanced manufacturing, other areas under the career and technical education umbrella may only require a 2-year degree or just a certificate. So we should be looking at how we expand programs in that field as well, so students aren't burdened with such high debt going into a 4-year or postgraduate degree.
Okay. My last question. Many young people today care deeply about various issues, but are disillusioned by the political process due to polarization and feeling like the system doesn't represent them. How would you help young people feel like their voices are being heard?
Well, I would say that the first thing that you do as a representative, and something I've always done, is first you show up and listen. You know, whether it's young people or older adults, it's important to understand what issues they care most about, and to be able to talk to them one-on-one or in a town hall about what you're doing to improve those issues and to help move the ball forward on whatever it might be. So that's why I do a lot of town hall meetings. You know, I'm doing a number of town halls with college campuses virtually now. Unfortunately, we can't do in person because of the coronavirus, but we're doing a lot of virtual town halls. And I think the reason why many young people, and really all of us, get disillusioned with politics is because we look at Washington and we see nothing getting done. every 2 years we have the same conversations around immigration or the climate crisis or healthcare or other issues, and nothing's getting solved. So what we need in Washington is we need representatives who are willing to work together. And one of the things that I did when I got to Washington is I joined what's known as the Problem Solvers Caucus, which is the only bipartisan caucus in the House of Representatives. There's 25 Democrats and 25 Republicans, and we meet every week. We agree that if a member brings a particular piece of legislation to the caucus, we'll vote on it. And if we come to 75% agreement within the caucus, we'll vote as a block in the House of Representatives. And I think we need more members to rise up and challenge leadership on both sides to help move some of these issues forward and get bills passed on a bipartisan basis, because then the American people are going to be more accepting of that, and we can move on to other issues that we need to work on in this country.
Is there anything else you would like to share that you think would help students?
No, I would say that I'm proud to represent a district that has almost 50,000 college students in it. I spend a lot of time speaking to college students and certainly understand many of the challenges that young people are facing today. And I would certainly be honored to earn their support in the upcoming campaign, and look forward to continuing the conversation. And always feel free to reach out to me or our office if there's something we can help with.
Thank you again for joining us, Congressman. For our viewers watching, don't forget to vote. And for more information regarding voting, you can check out our website or stop by the CCE located in UU 137. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.